teaching. This is part 1 of this teaching. Thank you for joining me. And today I'm going to start a topic. The topic says empowered to prosper. That's the topic. So I'm going to explain in details. I'm not only explaining alone. We are not just going to talk and talk and talk. We are going to practicalize and demonstrate it. So what I mean by practicalize and demonstrate it is that it's not going to be only teaching without evidence, without results. So that is why the Spirit of God asked me to tag it empowered to prosper. So I'm going to explain everything. Not only that we are praying. A lot of people keep on praying. Yes, they pray, they don't take action. That is why I've taken my time to put it in writing so that all of us can benefit from this topic. Thank you as you are joining me. You're welcome as you are joining me. And for those of you that are still going to watch later, you're welcome. Make sure you share it. Today, as I've said, that I'm starting a topic on empowered to prosper. So it's a prophetic class and a teaching class. It's an apostolic class. So it's going to be a pure class anyway. It's going to be a pure class. So I'm going to explain everything in details. So, and that is why I said it's going to be a practical class. So you're welcome once again. Let me quickly say this. There's a particular thing we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of that mentality. So, and that is poverty. That is poverty. I've talked about this in so many seminars, in so many counselings, in so many outreach, that as a Christian, even if you are not a Christian, you must get rid of poverty mentality. Amen? You must what? You must get rid of that. So, excuse me. So we are going to discuss it in details. And that is what I said. That number one thing is that we must get rid of poverty mentality. A lot of people, though they pray, but they still have that poverty mentality, and it's seriously affecting their prayer life. And that is what is, it's affecting a lot of Christians. You see a lot of people going from prayer mountain, going from church program, going from one outreach to another, keep on praying. And at the end of the day, some people conclude that God did not answer prayer. That is the mentality of some people. At the end of the day, they conclude that God did not answer prayer because they have moved from one church to another, moved from one larger auditorium to a smaller auditorium. At the end of the day, they now conclude that God did not answer prayer. It is not like that. It is the mentality. So those mentalities, what I first of all want us to talk about, so that before we now move on. And that is number one thing I said, that we must get rid of poverty. I've taken time to put everything down, and the time is coming. I'm going to publish the book so that a lot of people can benefit from it. This is a practical class, like I've said, that a lot of people is going to benefit from this. Poverty is a mocker, it's a killer, it's an anti-progress. Poverty is a special agent from the what? From the devil's kingdom. It has destroyed the life of many good children of God through their inability to make an ends meet. Inability to make their ends meet. Let's read Bible in the Proverbs chapter 10 verse 15. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 15. I'm going to cite some Bible example so that we are going to have a backup before we now dig into all this topic very well. Poverty is not good at all, and that is why I said we should get rid of it. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 15. He said, the rich man's wealth is strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The destruction of the poor is their what? Is their poverty. So the rich man's wealth is a strong city. It make him to be strong. The rich man, we have something to fall back on, something to guide on. I'm going to explain everything because at the end of the day, a lot of people, like some years ago, those days, some people will say, if you are rich, you can't make heaven. If you are rich, you cannot serve God very well. And today, a lot of people complain that because they don't have money, that's why they are not coming to church. They complain that because they don't have money, that is why they are not coming to church. So I'm going to explain everything that we need to understand very, very well. We need to understand. He said the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Because a rich man has something to guide, something to fall back on. God did not create poverty, and God did not make us to be poor. So it is our mentalities, it's individual mentality that determine the level you are going to be in life. If God has destined you that you are going to be a rich man and you are not working, you can't make it. You cannot. So God has destined you to be a rich man, and you just stay at home. Maybe somebody gave you a prophecy and say, you are going to be a rich man. And you think that, yes, I'm going to be a rich man. You started, you stayed at home. You were just thinking for the day that you're going to just make that money. Bam. And that is what you are waiting for. It's not going to work like that. I'm going to cite so many examples in the Bible. Everything we are discussing, because it's a practical class, I'm going to bring example from the Bible so that we can understand very, very well. Now, I'm talking about the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Poor man with their poor man mentality. You understand that? In parable of talent, let me explain that. When Jesus was explaining that, he said he gave some people, the talents. But one of them keep it. He now said that the master is very wicked. How can he give him one? Law of multiplicity. So he said he collected from the one that did not know how to manage it, how to use it. He gave it to another. So if God give you something, no matter how small it is, that's how a lot of people make mistake. A lot of people are expecting millions to come at once. If that million come at once, you will faint. Money is a spirit printed on paper. You have to get that. Money is a spirit. If you have not experienced large sum of money in your life and somebody gave you that kind of money, you will faint. You will even misuse it. And that is why you must cultivate the habit. If you don't have the habit, somebody just give you. That's why you see a lot of people, those people that used to give some people money that they don't work for, or money they did not prepare for. It will get to a point that few years, some few months, they will tell you that they don't know how they spend the money. But they are not prepared for that. Their mentality cannot conceive it. So it is until when the mindset change. I've said it that it's going to be a pure practical class because we are going to explain some aspects, some business, some area where you need to venture into and you make your money. When you pray, the prayer will be answered immediately. When you pray, God will answer the prayer. God wants us, the Bible says, show me your work. God wants us to work. He said he will bless the work of our hands. Works. What we are doing, not empty. What we are doing, that particular thing you are doing, God wants to bless the work in your hands. So, he said the rich man, technically, let me explain that. He said technical stealing and a life of lying has become a lot of many once around the saints of God. That's where I put it. And I said that projects have been abandoned. Life